Good morning, Xbox Nation. As you can hear it in my voice, I am super stoked to bring you today's episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. And of course, I'm one of your hosts, MrBooMStickXL. I have my incredible co host, best friend, and someone that I could not do the show without. That, of course, is the Welsh Gamer. Welcome back to the show, Drew. I'm super stoked. I know you are.
No, mate, oh man, it's Red Dead 2 Eve, buddy.
Yes, it is. It's
I am
Red Dead 2, and that's actually what we're going to open the show with because some breaking news happened literally minutes before we went live, and I think that I would be doing the fan base a disservice. But you know what? Before we get into the fun part of the show, I want to talk about what my wife and my wife Josette and I took on a task at the beginning of October. And I know that I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we do get new listeners all the time, and I kind of just want to throw it out there what we're doing. If you're new, I say welcome, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this show. If you've heard this before, please be patient. It's something important for me. It's important to my wife, and I think it's just important in general to the world. My wife Josette and I took on a task at the beginning of October where we came to the understanding that even though we are a small, and I say we because I couldn't do my channel without her. She is my rock. She is my confidant, and she is what keeps me going and gives me the confidence to keep coming out here on these YouTube and Twitter streets, doing this each and every week. So without her patience and understanding, I would not be here. So we took on a task that we both decided that even though this channel is small, we were going to donate 50%. And I originally said all super chat, but I had to be corrected because she's a good finance person. And what I want to correct that is all YouTube earnings, not just super chat. That means whatever little monies YouTube gifts me for the commercials that play on my videos, all YouTube earnings for the entire month of October, 50% of that is going to be donated to the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer charity. And, I'm only going to take up another 5 minutes, but I like giving some, knowledge in regards to breast cancer, because whether you know it or not, 49% of all gamers are women. Yes, that is true. Almost half are women. And here's another little thing. Men can get breast cancer. So please go get your physicals, men, women, and everybody in between. It's very important. But nearly 250,000 people will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year. And that, of course, is horrible. That could be your mother, your sister, your daughter, your wife, or even you. We hold Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walks, so anyone touched by this horrible disease won't have to face the diagnosis alone. We do it to raise awareness and money to fund research, support services, and early detection. We hold Making Strides events to save lives. Now, if you're not familiar with what Making Strides Against Breast Cancer is, they're an organization that all over the country hold walks. And I know that you've seen these walks. Some of them are early in the month, some are in the middle, and of course, some are at the end. If you are a person who has been touched with this horrible disease, or you know someone that has, and you want to pledge yourself to do it, to participate in one of these walks, all you have to do is go to the website that UK Dazaris, moderator of the universe, will be dropping into the chat. And you click there, you put your zip code in, and they'll immediately tell you where the walks are in your area. It's something that I think everyone should do. And I'm just going to read another, excerpt from their website. It says, the key to saving lives from breast cancer is you. That is absolutely true. Get involved and become a team leader. Team leaders can really help Making Strides event successful. The first thing to do is recruit friends, family, and anyone you want to spend a day with to be part of your team. Then just set up fundraising goals, organize fundraising activities, and on the day of the event, lead your lead your team through the fun walk day. You can also join an existing team or participate as a volunteer at one of the events. It's something that I think everyone should get involved with, and I'll say it again. My dad, passed away from lymphoma back in 1997. It is a long time ago. I only had my pop in my life until my early 20s. And last year we lost Josie's mom, which obviously devastated the family. So everyone is touched one way or another. I'm trying to keep it together, folks. You can hear it in my voice. I'm an emotional dude. I think I put that out there. I'm not afraid to shed a tear. But I just want to say that anyone that is going to donate, there are 3 shows left to do that. There is today's Xbox Factor podcast. There is tomorrow's Breakfast with Boom, which airs at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there's going to be one more show that's the Saltiest Gaming and I have that are going to start doing. The first episode was yesterday. It's going to be every Wednesday at noon. The new show is called Gaming News at Noon with Salty and Boom, and it's a 60-minute program where we just break down all the news headlines for gaming. And that will be on October 31st on my channel. That will be the last time to donate. I have been asked by numerous people to donate directly. I am a new channel. I'm learning on the job, so I don't have like a PayPal me attached to the account yet. Next year, I will have a better setup system. But if you want to listen live and you want to donate, like I said, 50% of that will go to this charity. But you know what, Drew? Enough of that. We're here to talk about gaming. And like I said, right before we went live, something happened big. Now, we know that it's Red Dead Redemption 2 week. We know that this is Rockstar's, I don't know, swan song, if you will, for this generation. It's literally their first generational game, and it appears to be the best game the company has ever put out there. How do I know this? Well, let's go into analytics and some stats. As of this podcast, the current Metacritic score for Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Xbox One is sitting at 98%. That is with 27 reviews. Now, I think they might have got the numbers backwards because this is my my thought process on that. And for the PlayStation 4, it's currently sitting at a 97 with 72 reviews. Now, Drew, we immediately have to start breaking down these numbers because we have not seen numbers like this. I think it might be in our history of gaming. What is your takeaway with these numbers?
Ultimately, I think the takeaway is that on both systems now, on both platforms, there's only a point between them. I'm not at all surprised that it's in the 90s and it's like hitting 96, 97, 98. Like I mean, I don't know what I would have even guessed would have been like the matter, but I'm just so glad to hear that as it is officially Red Dead 2 Eve, that tomorrow I'm going to be sinking my teeth into a game that is like unanimously hitting those high scores. I mean, Christ. I mean, if there was ever going to be a game this generation that could hit like the 100 mark, it would have been Red Dead. But the fact that it's falling a little bit short isn't killing it. I'm blown away, mate. I'm blown away. I mean, we could dissect the number itself and how many reviews for each platform. But bottom line, whether you're a PlayStation owner, Xbox owner, or you're a multi-console owner, but you have a preference of one or the other, you should be pretty happy at this point if you are one of these people who follow Metacritic and all that stuff. You should be pretty buzzing that tomorrow you're going to be sinking your teeth into arguably the best game of this generation, and the scores speak for themselves.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Don't take your word for it. Don't go to Twitter and take Johnny Two Tone's word for it. Okay? Don't do that. I think that this generation will be remembered and possibly defined, if you will, by the little site known as Digital Foundry. Yes, those guys that all of the PlayStation people held up high as it can be on their thrones, and then when the Xbox One X came, they kind of lowered them down to the ground. Okay. Now, this article was just posted by John Lenaham of Digital Foundry, and the article says this in the headlines: Red Dead Redemption 2 looks and plays best on the Xbox One X. And before we break what he's saying down, Drew, I want to read it because I want everybody to hear. I don't care whether you're a PC guy, a Switch guy, a PS4, or an Xbox. This supposedly are the go-to guys when it comes to analysis, right? Am I wrong by saying that, Drew?
No, no, no. Yeah, you're not wrong at all. I mean,
Okay,
I personally don't like Digital Foundry, but
no, I'm right there with you. I agree, but
you can't deny what they do. Like,
right,
they're the best at their field.
correct. So let me break down this article. It says the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro have taken center stage in Red Dead Redemption 2's pre-release marketing campaign, meaning we have a pretty decent idea of how Rockstar's latest epic presents on the Sony hardware. Today, we can discuss the Xbox One versions of the game, and the key takeaway is this. If you, and I quote, if you are looking for the very best Red Dead Redemption 2 experience, the Xbox One X is the go-to platform for this game. Rockstar's stunning technological achievement runs at a native 4K on the X and also delivers the smoothest performance of all platforms. Bearing in mind just how far Rockstar is pushing the current gen hardware, that is a stunning achievement. Now, I'm not going to comment first because I want to go to my co-host. Drew, what are your takeaways with this literally quoted work of art from Rockstar?
Right. Well, let me just start by saying this. When you posed the Red Dead Redemption 2 topic to me a couple of days ago, when you sent me the list of topics, at that point, it wasn't actually confirmed that Red Dead was going to be best on Xbox One X. Like we all, me and you and just about everyone else assumed it would be.
Right.
But I was going about it in the sense that like I'd be very surprised if Rockstar like intentionally held back the One X version. I was around about the way going to be like, you know, if Rockstar were going to create some kind of parity or it was going to be held back on the Xbox version for some reason, I knew full well that Rockstar being Rockstar, you know, that it was overall going to be either for the betterment of the game. It wasn't going to be due to the marketing deal. Because Rockstar as a company, as a developer, the reason they are where they are, the reason they walk around with gold bling everywhere and they strut their stuff like J-Lo, is because they are the best at what they do, and they hold themselves at a very high esteem. They know what they know their worth, and they have far too much integrity. So what I'm getting at, Boom, is this news and all that stuff that Digital Foundry, Digital Pony had to say about Red Dead, had to say about Red Dead 2 is not in the slightest bit surprising to me. Frankly, it's just justifying why Red Dead 2 is going to be so good. I think it's phenomenal. Like I said, the reason I wanted to get that out of the way is because I just wanted to be clear that at this point, until about 5 minutes ago, I wasn't even aware that it was confirmed. So now that I know that Digital Foundry, who by all accounts, whether you love them or hate him, I can quite wholeheartedly say I'm not a fan of Digital Foundry. and what they do, because I feel like this generation being the power gen and the graphics gen and the 1080p versus 720p gen, they just put more and more coal and gasoline on the fire of the console war, the more and more videos they pumped out. But bottom line, they are the best at what they do in terms of analysis. And I'm just glad to hear that as someone who owns an Xbox One X and frankly has been waiting for this title since what feels like forever, those words that you just read out, Boom, is music to my ears. Like, I just can't wait. I hope my voice and me, how I'm saying it, portrays the excitement that is like just burning up inside of me. But I literally can't wait to play this game.
Yeah.
It's going to look absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's one of those games, Boom, that if Digital Foundry came out tomorrow or Rockstar came out tomorrow and said, for reasons, blah, 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 it's going to be 1080p on both systems. We're not going for 4K. We're not doing it. Blah, blah. Even if they went about, for whatever reason, hypothetically, it was still always going to look absolutely insane. But the fact that it's going to be in 4K, like the graphic fidelity is just going to be unbelievable. The textures, the lighting, all of that. Like I can't sing Rockstar's praises enough. There's probably only one other developer that can stand tall next to Rockstar, and that's CD Projekt Red. But Rockstar have been around since the Dark Ages. They have set precedents. They've set the bar when it comes to like these games. And I honestly think we're going in blind. I think even with everything you just read, Boom, I think even with that said, we are not going to fully understand the level of excellence and perfection that is Red Dead Redemption 2 until tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I agree. And before I continue my point, I have to say a big, giant thank you to Failed Pyromancer for the $10 super chat. He says, big fan, support you guys when I can. Listen, dude, first of all, I am thrilled that you're here in the chat. That's number one. Number two, the fact that you have taken the time out of your day, which is probably very busy, that you're here listening to this show warms my heart. And the $10 donation is incredible. So thank you so much for that. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Of course, I will continue to talk to the chat as soon as I'm done with my point. Now, I want to just read. Yes, sir.
Sorry, can I just say one more thing and then you can have the floor?
No, please, by all means, go ahead.
Can I just throw out there that with everything that's happened in the last 4 or 5 years, since the beginning of this generation, all the hashtag no parity, we'll never forget the Assassin's Creed Unity incident. There's been a lot of cases of like this console war. I mean, I don't want any part of it, but let's just be honest. It's been present. It's not going anywhere. It's been there. I just love the fact that Rockstar have the integrity to push to optimize for the Xbox One X, regardless of its marketing deal. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anywhere in any contract that says if you sign this piece of paper, you're not allowed to optimize for the other system. But you can imagine that the ponies and certain individuals over at Sony are probably not happy. But it's nice that Rockstar still do it anyway. I'm not trying to get petty, but like I said before, for someone who is a One X owner, and I spent a lot of hard-earned money on that system and that TV, money that I honestly didn't really have, it's just nice to know that there's companies out there like Rockstar that don't beat around the bush. There's no bullshit. They want their game to be the best it can be. And as a consumer, I could not be more happy about that. So crack on, Boom. I want to hear your thoughts now. Enough of the Welsh gamers jibber jabber.
No, dude, you make great valid points, right? That's the whole reason why a gamer, I don't give a crap what color you are, what race, creed, what religion, what plastic you worship, but anybody that's a gamer, regardless of whether you're a male or a female, if you go out and you spend $500 on a product, you expect to bring that product home, and that with the claims that company A has made, which is obviously Microsoft, you want them to you want to take them to task if they don't deliver. And your points are extremely valid. You spend $500 that you might have had to cut a couple of corners to get, so because you wanted to play the best version of every third party game, not to mention what Microsoft will eventually and has brought to the table. End of story. Now, I want to read something from Microsoft's official website for the Xbox One X, and it has recently been updated. The listing confirms Red Dead Redemption 2 will indeed have Xbox One X specific enhancements, as well as other impressive features, including HDR and a resolution output of 4K Ultra HD, which equates to 2160p. I'm going to say this. Not only am I staying up tonight, because obviously I have a show tomorrow, and this is going to be one of the topics, like what were your first, 3 or 4 hours of play, because I'm going to play this tonight, probably for about 4 hours to weigh maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning, hit the hay, get back up, and then get prepared for the show and probably play another 2 hours. So I'm hoping to have anywhere between 5 and 6 hours of play of this game so I could talk about it on tomorrow's show. But we're talking about it today on this show. And as an Xbox fan like yourself, who has a 4K TV, who went out and bought, the Xbox One X day one, I was hoping, and it has now been confirmed, that the best version of the game that everyone in the world is going to be playing, regardless of what console you're playing on, except for obviously the Switch, we're gonna get the best version. And I'm sorry, I'm not drawing a line in the sand. I'm not kicking sand in anyone's face. I'm not pointing and making fun, because PlayStation owners are gonna have a good experience as well. It's just not gonna run at 4K Ultra. And you know what? If you are a gamer, and I say gamer, not a specific branded gamer, but if you are a gamer who cares about, who's basically a graphics whore, which I blatantly admit that I am, and you want to play the best version of this game as it stands right now, and you can afford to do it, go out and buy yourself an Xbox One X. You could probably get it for less than $500 if you're a savvy shopper. If you don't have one now, you don't have the money now, Black Friday is coming. You could probably pick up one. It might be as low as $300. I don't know. But right now, with the confirmation from not only Microsoft, but the people we hold so high up in the air, Digital Foundry, they're saying that this is the best place to play. So, with that said, I don't think we can talk about it any further without being blue in the face. Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably going to be many gamers' game of the year for 2018. It is certainly not going to be mine. That title has been taken by Assassin's Creed or Odyssey, but I will hold back judgment and play this through, and you know what, we'll see. But you know what, I want to talk about a fun topic, and this was brought to our attention through a tweet from Mike Ybarra, the famous Mike Ybarra. You love him, hate him, somewhere in the middle. He has always been out there that he is team no sticker. And you know what? I have to agree with him. I am team no sticker. I actually did a little video of me pulling the sticker off. I posted it on Twitter. I got a lot of boos, but I got a lot of yays as well. So here, this is I want to talk about the story. Team Sticker was just dealt a killing blow. And what do I mean by that? Microsoft has confirmed to WCCF Tech, which is where I pulled the article from, that moving forward, all new Xbox One S and X versions will not come with the infamous warning sticker. According to Microsoft, new Xbox One X and Xbox One S consoles will now, moving forward again, ship without warning stickers on the front of that console. Microsoft's senior producer, Justin Roby, shared the absence of the warning sticker on his new Xbox One X console on Twitter overnight, of course, which was responded to by Phil Spencer, who is the corporate vice president, and then of course Mike Ybarra himself chimed in to confirm that Team No Sticker has officially lost the battle. Drew, I know this is a funny one. We have, when we do these shows, I try to pull deep cuts that no one is talking about because I want you to come to the show and I want you to be entertained. That's what we're here to do. We're here to entertain you. Drew, what do you think on this? What side of the line do you are? Are you team no sticker? Are you team sticker? And does this does this really bring the community back together, being that there's no longer going to be a sticker to fight about?
It's a funny one.
It is a funny one.
Because I suppose if I had to answer it, sorry, man. It is. I'm actually really happy about this one. Basically, I was technically Team Sticker for a long time. My Xbox One Fat, I kept the sticker on it literally from the moment I got it out the box until I sold it for money towards my Xbox One X. So my younger brother, who I sold it to, unless he's taken it off, the sticker might still be there. So technically, I was always Team Sticker, not like consciously or actively, like going around with like a tattoo on my forehead, like #sticker for laugh, y'all. But it was kind of like I just didn't want to take it off. But then I got the Xbox One X, Project Scorpio edition to be specific, and I just thought, fuck having a sticker on this beauty. And I just ripped that thing off, and then I automatically became Team No Sticker. So it's funny, man. I think it was just the Xbox Fat. It just kind of belonged there. But the One X, it doesn't belong. But this is funny, man, because once again, I mean, I'm not trying to read too much into this because bottom line, like you said, it's all a bit of fun. It's all a bit of banter. This whole #sticker war thing going on. But the fact that enough people have said, stop shipping my Xbox with the sticker, and they've listened and gone, okay, no more, we'll take it away. I don't know. It's just one more reason to address Xbox as the guys that listen. But overall, I think it's hilarious. I mean, I hope that in the last few years there hasn't been anyone too upset about these stickers, because bottom line, you could take it off the whole time. Newsflash, you didn't have to keep it. but no, it's funny, man. I mean, honestly, when you sent me this topic, I had a little giggle to myself. I was thinking like it's a funny one. But technically, if you're asking me about me, like what am I currently? I am, as of the Xbox One X Project Scorpio edition landing on my lap, an official Team No Sticker.
Well, you know what? Real quick, again, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this topic because there's so much to talk about. But I just want to read two tweets. One, of course, is from Mike Ybarra, and he says, Team No Sticker had to win. I took off the gloves. GG. And then, of course, this one comes from Phil Spencer. Now, this is the head of Microsoft. This is the head of Microsoft Gaming. This is funny. It says, so far, all shipped Xbox One consoles carry a warning sticker on the front of the console, which warned for removing the console when the disc was present. And he says, in the end, we always knew what team was going to win. And you know what? They're having some fun with this. It goes to show you that they're not all corporate business. It's, they're having fun with the fans. You know what? And I wanted to throw it out there. I know that I'm a little late getting to the chat with this. In the chat, because I like to involve you guys, besides just, talking to you. I like to involve you in, obviously the show. So just, throw out there if you're a Team Sticker or Team No Sticker, and I'll kind of, maybe do a couple of shout outs on that. I know I've seen a few. I know UK Dazarus is he's Team Who Gives a Shit, It's a Sticker, which is great. And there's a few other ones, but I want to go into the next topic, dude. Crackdown 3 is returning this November at XO18's Fan Fest, and it's going to have a big presence, and according to Microsoft, will be playable. New information has been revealed about the long in development title. First, it has, and this is, if you are a person like me who likes searching for things in a game, which I do. I like big open world games. I just passed 120 plus hours in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm probably going to finish that game with somewhere around 160 hours because I like collecting stuff. I don't know if I'm a mental case or not, but that's one of my things I really enjoy about a game. So who knows, right? Well, the first Crackdown, if you recall, had 500 orbs. Those are the blue orbs that are pretty much everywhere. They're on lampposts, they're on cars, they're on tops of buildings. And if you stand at a really tall building, you can just look across the landscape and see them. And me, like being I kind of think of like Pac-Man. Oh, I have to get that orb. I will not do a mission just to get a bunch of orbs in an area. It's a sickness. But apparently, the team that's doing Crackdown 3 has decided that 500 orbs in the game wasn't enough. So they doubled it to 1,000 blue orbs for players to collect. Basically, I am going to be like a crackhead playing Crackdown, combing the entire city, looking for every one of them. A real quick story, and this goes to show you the dedication that I had for finding these blue orbs. I found 499. And I, figured, okay, I'm just going to come up. I'm going to come across it. Well, I took a helicopter and I flew around for 3 days. 3 days, human days. Okay. I'm not saying I played the game for 72 hours. I'm saying that I flew around in a helicopter for 3 days trying to find this last damn orb. And I wound up eventually finding it on a terrace. But I got it. I'm probably going to be doing the same thing here. Drew, first of all, there's a couple of things here. Crackdown 3, there has been a lot of buzz in the last couple of days that this game is going to turn out to be something special. Even though with all of the delays and all of the, the naysay and negative, stuff that's gone into it, word has it that it's going to be something special. We know that there's 1,000 blue orbs. We know that Terry Crews is going to be screaming in the game, so sign me up because I love that dude. But we also know that the game is 1.5 times bigger. So New Providence, which is the city you're going to be running around in and destroying things, is 1.5 times bigger. 1.5 times bigger than the original, and that is something to talk about. Drew, are you excited for Crackdown 3 with this new information? And what is your take on 1,000 blue orbs to find?
The 1,000 blue orbs thing is wasted on me because I unlike you, Boom, I'm not ill. I am not. I haven't yet to come down with the sickness of have to find every collectible. So I'm quite safe. I'm safe. I must be in a very low concentration zone for this illness. But I'm sure I'll still have a dabble and jump and bunny hop from building to building and try and find the odd orb. But I think it's good though. I mean, bottom line, just because me personally, whatever. But you're not alone, Boom. The sickness has gone rampant. There is a lot of people who like to collect everything. Like Christ, I could name a few that I'm friendly with from the States that I game with. One guy comes to mind. He spent God knows how long. We'd be like, oh, I want to jump on some gears and play some multiplayer. And he'd be like, nah, I'm still looking for the feathers or something like that. And
that's great. I love it.
I think that might have been Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes. Yeah. It was one of the Assassin's Creed we actually had to find the feathers. That is correct. Yes.
And literally, I'm not joking. This went on for weeks. It was like, oh, you're going to play some Halo? You're going to play some COD? You're going to play... No, I'm still looking for the feathers. It's like, oh, Christ, okay. Just speak when you're ready to play a game, will you? But no, yeah, that's just the way it is. Like, people like to do it, yourself included. So for me, as an observer, I think it's fantastic that they're up in the ante, making it more challenging. I think it's great. As for my anticipation of the game and am I excited for it? Of course I am. And all I have to say is, like, you said that, like, through the grapevine, the word is it's going to be a spectacular game. All I'll say is this, Boom, and I don't mean to sound like a pedantic child in Toys R Us. But I certainly fucking hope so. Because when a game is delayed, I'm always the first one, and this goes for any game. You can find records on my channel of me defending Uncharted 4 back in the day. There's other game. I've definitely made a few videos where I've come forward and said about a game on any either Xbox or PlayStation, where I've said a delay is a good thing. Stop hating on the developers. Stop getting your butt hurt. A delay is only to make the game better. But when it concerns Crackdown 3, after the 23rd delay, I expect it to be not just better, but an all-round overhaul of brilliance. So I really do hope that they have taken all the time they need, and when that game drops, it is going to be everything we expect to be delivered and more. So yeah, I'll say this: I'm excited for the game, but my expectations, I gotta be honest. I know a lot of people are probably thinking, really, but my expectations are actually really high, because for a game to be delayed this many times, for it to be in its development for this long, and when games before it have been, been bloody cancelled for a lot less, for a lot, Phil hasn't needed this many reasons to cancel games before it, but Crackdown has survived. So it's all that says to me is it's got to be good. I mean, it must be. Otherwise, they're just wasting their time over there. So my expectations are high, because when you look at games like Scalebound and stuff like that, like they literally had like maybe 1 or 2 delays and it was cancelled. This game's had like bloody 21 plus 1 plus 10 delays and it's still going. So my expectations are high. I'll be honest, because like I'm thinking in my head, you've had enough time to work on this. You've got the tools. You've got the checkbook of Microsoft in your left pocket. If this game doesn't blow me away, I'm going to be quite shocked.
Yeah, I agree. I have to pay the bills. I want to say a big thank you and a shout out to Caboose V42 for the $2 super chat. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate all that you have done, because you've donated in the past. So thank you for that. He says, Boom All Access is still in effect. Yes, that is correct. My DMs are open. I do talk to everyone. So if you're interested and you want to strike up a conversation, don't hesitate. Hit me up in the DM. Hit me up on Xbox Live. Leave a message on PSN. I'm going to be honest with you. PSN, I may not respond because I only put it on for first parties, and I've beaten the hell out of Spider-Man. I'm 4 trophies away from the platinum. I will eventually get that. But you know what? You know what has me excited for Crackdown 3 is this. Now we know the delays, we know the history, we know everything, that all the negative tropes that that people have said, and it deserves all of the negative criticism because it's been delayed so much. Okay, but I'm gonna say this: there's a piece of me that's slightly jealous of the wonderful and incredible fans of Mexico City, because they're going to get a chance to play this firsthand. It's going to be on the show floor. And not only is it going to be on the show floor for everyone to play, it's going to be up on stage, displayed for the world. And I believe that not only are we going to see the improvements to the single player, I think we're finally going to get the at least some inkling of what the multiplayer is going to look like. And I'm going to say this. I'll take it with a grain of salt. This is just my personal opinion. I think that the word that's been out there for the last few days about the improvements of this game and that it is going to be something special, if Microsoft had no confidence in this title like they did in the past, they just would not show it. They would not talk about it. But because it's going to be up there in everyone's face, all of the fans that are going to be going to FanFest in Mexico City on November 10th are going to be able to play this. I think that it's something to get excited about. I'm also hoping that they move it up from the February 22nd, 2019 date to maybe early February, maybe release it on the 7th, the 8th, somewhere around there, so we can get a chance to play that before, obviously the explosion that's going to be with Anthem on the 22nd of February. But you know what? If we have nothing else to talk about in regards to Crackdown, I kind of want to move on a subject now. Again, no one is talking about this, and you tuned in because you want to be entertained once again. And I want to talk about Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now, I'm going to say this as it's currently standing with my, because I start preparing my game of the year somewhere in May, right? I start putting all the games that came out early in the year into a pile, and then I just sit back and I keep adding them. Like a swear jar, you put your dollar in, you put your 50 cents in, you say the F word, there goes $5, right? Well, I keep putting the games in this jar, and I wait to the end of the year to try, and I dump it all out, and I say, okay, let's see what I spent the most time playing, and what I enjoyed, what had the best graphics, this, that, and the third. You know how it goes, when it comes to making your game of the year list. And that doesn't just go for media professionals or the YouTube community like us, Drew. I mean, that's just everybody's, every fan is going to do this. As it stands right now, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, for me personally, and as an early, list that I made, is sitting at number 4. And there are 3 ahead of it that are big that are big guns. I happen to really enjoy Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I put a significant, well over 50 hours into that game. It might be closer to 75, but I'm going to be safe because I don't want to sound like a boob. But you know what? Shadow of the Tomb Raider made some news this week. And apparently, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is being review bombed on Steam following a sale that just happened. The game was discounted just a few weeks after its release. Now, the title debuted on the 14th of September and obviously had mostly really positive reviews. However, in the last week, the game has dropped to a mixed rating after a week-long sale dropped the price by 34% for the standard edition and 47% for the special Croft edition. This information comes to us thanks to Reddit user PCGN. The game has, and this is where it gets crazy. The game has received 196 negative reviews when the sale started, followed by hundreds of more logged in throughout the week. And here are some of the comments. I don't know if you'd call him a fan. It says, too short. Game was discounted literally a month after its actual release. Displayed glitches, crashes. I'm a major fan of the series, but this is disappointing. And another one said, on sale after a month upon releasing. Are you kidding me? Now, here's the thing. Early adopters, meaning people, gamers, who are going to go out and buy a game on the first day that it's released because of your excitement for the title, whether or not you're a fan of the particular character. Gaming in general, there are going to be first-time adopters. That goes for hardware. That goes for software. Heck, that goes for candy bars, right? The next Twix that comes out with chocolate chips, if you're a fan, you're going to go out there to your local newsstand and pick that up and eat it. Same thing with Tomb Raider. I was a day one. I bought the big boy edition because I wanted the DLC, obviously. And, there are going to be sales. At the end of the day, I don't think this comes off as a shocking revelation, Drew. Video games is a business, and companies need to make money. They need to, account for all of the spending to make that game, all the spending to produce that game, and all the spending in the advertising and marketing that goes in, and it's millions of dollars. So if a game is sitting after 5 or 6 weeks on the shelf, they're going to try and drive sales up by putting it on sale. What is your take on the review bombs, and is this ridiculous, Drew?
Right. Right. The game came out 14th of September, correct?
Yes.
So nearly a month and a half later, or like just under a month and a half or whatever, it's now had a price cut. While that might seem quite soon for a lot of people, it's certainly, I can understand if it comes across that way. But bottom line, you said it best, then, Boom. Gaming, the industry we're in, is a business. These developers need to break bread. They need to feed their families. They need to keep the lights on. And bottom line, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing this out there. It might have absolutely nothing to do with it, but I certainly would be playing this card and you know, using this as a factor when it came to like when or when not to make a price cut on a big game like Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And that's Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is out tomorrow. That is going to be a juggernaut. There's not going to be a lot of games that are going to be talked about come tomorrow. So if you are the developers of Shadow of the Tomb Raider and you're like, okay, why don't we, you know, give the game a price cut, give it a bit more life, get people talking about it again, maybe get more people involved. That was a good call, in my opinion. And, you know, and it's obviously sold more copies because of that. A lot of people are picking it up due to the price cut. That you know, you get that a lot anyway. Every game from here to Timbuktu will eventually have a price cut. But in this case, I think because Shadow of the Tomb Raider only came out a month ago, and you've got Red Dead 2 coming out like within the next bloody 12 hours. I just think this last week or so, with the price cut, I think it was a good call on their front. But what I think about these mixed reviews and these negative reviews, personally, I wouldn't be upset if I was the guys over there working on Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Bottom line, Boom, all this tells me, right, is that the people who aren't even fans of the series are complaining about it. They are picking it up simply because it's a cheaper game now. They had no interest in it before. And if they were even fans of the series at all, they would have been a day one adopter, as you so eloquently said earlier, and they would have been among the fans of the series that unanimously are loving the game. Now, I'm not disputing any one of these people's opinions, but it's safe to say, like, you know, from my first impressions, that these people would never have played Shadow of the Tomb Raider, at least not for a long time, but because of the price cut. And that people, you know, these are people who are not fans of the game and that they shouldn't even be playing it, to be honest. It's like when, I remember when Quantum Break came out, Boom, and they had someone review Quantum Break around the time of its release. And it got terrible reviews. Yes. And it came out in the woodwork like a week after the review went live, or like maybe even like a couple of weeks after the game was released, that the person that reviewed the game wasn't even a fan of third-person shooters. Third-person games in general, they detest third-person games. So why on earth is that individual reviewing that game? So in this case... Yep. Hello?
No, I'm saying hello. You're 100% right.
Oh, sorry. I thought my mic must have gone or something.
my fault.
No, it's okay. I'm saying, Prince, like, why the hell are these people even putting pen to paper when they clearly aren't fans of the series anyway? Yep. Because if they were, their review would have dropped among all the other people who bought it day one. It just speaks volumes for me. If I was an individual listening to this podcast now who hasn't bought Shadow of the Tomb Raider yet, and you're a bit like, oh, do I spend the money? You know, it's getting bad reviews. Listen to me and listen to me clearly. When you're reading a review, if you're one of these people who like to listen to reviews and read reviews and you make your decisions based on other people's opinions, which I'd advise you against that anyway, just check if you insist on doing it though, I'd say check the date the review went live. If the date is close to the drop or before, because obviously a lot of reviews are done before the game drops, then that's a safer bet, because these are people who are fans of the game, people who bought it day one, people who want to see the game succeed and they want the game to do well, and they're speaking from the heart. A lot of these people who have dropped these review bombs, frankly, like I've just made very clear, hopefully, they clearly aren't fans of the series, otherwise they'd have bought it day one. They clearly have no time for it. They've just picked it up because it's cheaper and they're slating it because it's not their thing. It's just that's how I see it, Boom. Take the floor, man. I'm curious if everything I said speaks true to you, or if you think differently, or
no. I think what you're saying makes perfect sense. And before I give my opinion on that, I have to say a big thank you to Mega 3000 for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, screw cancer, love your work and effort. Boom, best wishes to you, your family, and friends. Much love, brother. Listen, dude, First of all, I'll say this. Number one, that donation, I cannot thank you enough. You literally have warmed my heart with that. Number two, the fact that you've taken the time, and I've said this before, out of your day to sit wherever you're sitting and listen to this show, that in itself means the world to both Drew and I, because when we started, when we wanted to put this show together, we sat on this for weeks and we talked about it and we said, do the people want to hear us first and foremost, and do they want to hear an Xbox show? And then after we finally toyed around with it, we decided to put it out there, and the response has been nothing short of breathtaking. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you not only for the donation, but the time that you put into listening to this show. And Drew, I want to answer your question. I'm going to say this, and you hit on a point that I think needs to be really worked on. If you're a fan of the game, any game, not just Tomb Raider, not Shadow of the Tomb Raider, not Halo, not Uncharted, it doesn't matter what game you're a fan of. If you're a fan of that game, that franchise, that console, you're going to go out and you're going to buy it, and you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And if you hate it, you're going to go on Twitter and say, God damn it, this sucks. This game sucks. I'm disappointed, right? But if you love it, like myself, you're going to be doing videos. You're going to be doing, you're going to be talking about it on podcasts. You're going to be taking pictures and posting it on Facebook and especially on Twitter. Hey, look at this picture, gorgeous. I'm still to this day, after 120 plus hours, still taking video and still posting pictures of Assassin's Creed Odyssey because the game is gorgeous. So I'm expecting the same thing I did the same thing for Tomb Raider. I will do the same thing for Red Dead. If you're, and again, I'm addressing the hundreds, the so-called hundreds of these angry fans that a game went on sale. Let me just say this first and foremost. If you're an angry gamer, I think right there, your point, anything you say is going to become a moot because you're talking with anger. When you talk with anger, you say things usually you don't mean. And you know what? Maybe think about this, and I like to think of this I like to think of other people. What if you're a gamer who's on the budget, right? And that you're a big Tomb Raider fan, but guess what? Your student loan came in, your car payment, your rent, your Con Ed, your daughter or son's school, your wife's, you want to get a gift for your wife, and you could not get Tomb Raider, and you had to sit in the sideline where everyone else is playing. How crummy would you feel? You'd feel shitty, right? And I've had that happen to me. Boom does buy everything, or he used to. I try to buy everything. I just can't. I don't have the financial wheelhouse like I used to have it because I'm obviously retired. But I try to stay in the know. So there have been some times where I've sat back on the sidelines, and it's a real shitty feeling. Well, you know what? Those people that had to skip on Tomb Raider could now get it because it's 50% off. And I say good on them. Right? Go out and enjoy it. Now you can treat yourself. Instead of spending 60, spend 30. And you know what? Enjoy the hell out of the game. I paid 60, or I paid more because I bought the big edition, right? But I'm not sorry that I did. It was a fantastic game. Hell, I'm still playing it. I can't wait for the DLC to start dropping. So to your point, Drew, yes, those people are ridiculous. And they probably weren't fans from the beginning. But
yeah, definitely. Like that's what it says to me. Of course, you're going to have your individuals who just straight up couldn't buy the game day one. But I'd say for the most part, out of that 100+ negative reviewers, if you're reviewing a game, you clearly have the budget to buy games. So it just speaks volumes. I can't say it enough. Like, if they were fans of the game to begin with, they'd have been among the people reviewing it at the start, but they weren't. I think it's silly. And frankly, I've seen a few people in the comment section saying the Z Black Rider said the discount was quick to come. I'd be a bit pissed. I mean, that's each to their own, dude. If you personally would be pissed, fair enough. I'm not taking anything away from you, but I do not personally understand why anyone could be upset with a price cut. I mean, one, for the consumer who hasn't bought it yet, who like you said, Boom, you gave the scenario of someone who didn't have the money to buy it first off, and now they can get it. That's brilliant. But I think people need to understand as well. I mean, like I said, it might have nothing to do with it, but you've got to accept that these developers need to put money on the table, food on the table.
Yep.
They got rent to pay, they got lights to keep on, and Red Dead 2 is coming out tomorrow. It's a juggernaut. Most games like lifespan, when a game comes out, an open world game, any game, like, you know, especially a game like Tomb Raider, you want it to have a bit of life, you want it to have a bit of longevity. You kind of want, if you are a developer of that game, I'd want people to be playing it for some time, at least be talking about it. So after a month of it being out, a big game like Red Dead 2 coming out, which is going to overshadow most other games, I think this price cut was a good shout. I think it was a good idea, and it might breathe a little bit of extra life into it, which it would otherwise not have. Because imagine you're one of these individuals who's got a tight budget, and to your right, you've got Red Dead 2. To your left, you've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider. You're more than likely going to lean towards Red Dead. But if you've got Red Dead to your right and Shadow of the Tomb Raider to your left, but there's a price cut, you might think, I'll bite the bullet. I'll buy them both. Or, do you know what I mean? I'm just throwing.
No,
I know that's just
it makes perfect sense, dude.
But I think it's clever. Sorry,
yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I think it's clever. I think it's a smart business move. You did say it. Red Dead 2 is going to be a juggernaut. It is a juggernaut. It's going to take over lives. It may cost people their jobs. Hell, it may even cost someone their marriage because they're going to be playing this game nonstop. I have to do two things before we go to the next topic. First, I have to give a shout out to Red67, a very good friend of mine, very good friend of the show. He says, if you're enjoying the show, drop a like. It's absolutely free. Now, you know, I have to comment on that because I have been scolded by the mighty Mooch, who was himself scolded by the infamous Crap Gamer about asking the people in the chat that are listening to hit that like button. I don't ask for much. I do forget most times to ask people to hit the like button. It does really matter. You think that the thumbs up or thumbs down, it matters more than you think. And I'm going to say this: if you don't like the show, if you don't like me, you don't like Drew, I encourage you hit the dislike button. Please don't feel obligated to hit the like button if you're not enjoying the content. That's number one. Number two, if you are enjoying the content and you do like hearing me and Drew every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, hit the like button. Let us show us that you have as much love for us as we have for you. Real quick, I have to say a big thank you to Aiden Williams with the $10 super chat. Dude, that really does mean the world to me. Thank you so much. And it will be going, 50% of that will be going to a great cause. He says, love the podcast. Bro, been playing Red Dead 2. Oh, wow. So he's been playing the game, and it is an absolute master class of a game. Hands down, game of the generation. From what he's played, it looks amazing in 4K. Well, listen, good on you, dude, for that. The two things. One, that you got the game early, which is awesome. And two, that you're enjoying it as much as you are. Thanks for coming here and taking the time to listen to this show instead of playing Red Dead, unless, of course, you are doing both, which that would be amazing. And again, one more thing before we go to the next topic. Today's show is being sponsored by Dave's Sweeps on Twitter. And if you've seen them on Twitter and bypassed them, I'm going to tell you this. They're not just another fake poster offering prizes for clicks and likes. And the reason why I can tell you that is this. Last month, I won a $50 Xbox Live gift card. So not only do I endorse them, but I highly suggest following them and entering their free contests. Like me, you could win. And you know what? That $50 gift card, and I told him privately, and I'll say it out in the open, was a big deal for me because I was going to be short for the Assassin's Creed Odyssey Gold Edition. And that helped pay for 50% of that. So I'm, of course, always going to be grateful for Dave's Sweeps. Again, this endorsement, they're not paying me for this, folks. This is just my way of paying. You know, you ever heard the saying, pay it forward? They're new to the community. They are legit. I won by just entering their contest, and because I have a small voice, and it is a tiny voice on YouTube, I wanted to give them a shout out and make them a proper sponsor of today's episode. But you know what? I want to move on to the next topic, Drew, and I think this one has some relevance. This story broke this morning. I don't normally get breaking news, Drew. As you know, I start preparing for these shows a week before, and I just add topics as we go. And this particular one broke this morning. I didn't even send it to you. That's how fresh it is. Apparently, Microsoft is bringing the Xbox One's best feature to the PC. And what is that? Well, Xbox Game Pass will now be gracing the presence of the millions upon millions of PC gamers. And regardless of the sales race between the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, Microsoft has always had a crucial advantage when viewed through the eyes of the PC gamers. Xbox Play Anywhere. That service lets gamers buy a growing selection of titles such as Forza Horizon 4, which is Racer of the Generation, and Gears of War 5, which is coming up, which that may be the best Gears yet, on one platform and play them on both, frequently boasting cross-platform multiplayer and progression, which that, of course, is a big deal. But now the Xbox One's true killer app is the Netflix-style gaming subscription service. The Xbox Game Pass is now landing on PC. This is huge. Drew, let's break it down. What do you think about this, dude?
I think it's good. I think it's really good. I mean, I've been an advocate of the Xbox Play Anywhere program since it was just talked about, like, God knows how many years ago. And God knows I've been behind it. I've been all for it. I've had a lot of people, scolding me. Speaking of the word scold, for the longest time it was exclusives matter, all this crap. It's like, while they do matter, don't get me wrong. I just mean, like, when Microsoft, Windows 10, Xbox, it's all one and the same.
Right.
It's a brand across devices. So when a game is exclusive to the Xbox, that doesn't necessarily mean the box itself. Like, you can't play it on anything else. And I've been an advocate of that. I've been behind that. I've not had absolutely zero issue with it. And it's nice to see that it's starting to, like, materialize more and more. Like, and the thing is, as we both know, the Windows 10 store or whatever has been a pile of bunk. And it's nice that, like, this Xbox Game Pass app might solve that problem, so people on the PC have an easier access to some of their first party titles and the other titles that the service provides for the monthly subscription. I think it's good. I certainly have nothing against it. You're going to get people who hate it, but I don't see the problem. I think, end of the day, this Play Anywhere thing, they're seeing it through. And the guys over on the PC side of things who are part of the Xbox umbrella and ecosystem, I think they deserve to have it. I see no reason why they shouldn't. So I'm all for it, Boom. I think it's cool.
Yeah, what that does for the Xbox community is a lot bigger than most people are going to give it credit for. And what do I mean by that? Basically, if you're going to have an Xbox game come out, and obviously we know the old trope, it's not really truly, exclusive if it's on PC. Well, if it's not on your platform, meaning i.e. the PlayStation 4 or the Switch, it's exclusive, regardless of its being on the PC. And to further my point, you have to take into account this. PC as a whole, probably, if with all of the Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation 4 players combined, put them in a jar, shake it up, just gamers from all three platforms. In 2018, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm going to make an educated guess. The PC player base probably trumps that 2-1. And I don't think I sound like a boob saying that, right?
No, mate. I'd say you're very accurate.
Okay.
I'd say that there is a lot of PC gamers.
Yeah, loads and loads of PC gamers. They don't call them the master race for nothing, right? With that said, there is potential. No one is saying this is definite, but there is potential, okay, for a particular game. I don't know, Forza Horizon 4 Gears of War 5, Halo 6, whatever else Microsoft brings out that's going to have a multiplayer mode. That having that many players have access to the games, not only that are already in there, which are ridiculous. The amount of games that are in there are ridiculous, right? They say over 100 games. It's currently over 150. Let's call a spade a spade. But continuing with my point, games, first party games that are going to be in there day and date, like I said, reiterating Gears, Halo, whatever else they're going to put in there that has multiplayer. It has the potential to expand the player base in a way that cannot be done anywhere else. Right? So you know, look at that for a second. You're not just talking about, you know, first party game on the Xbox. This Game Pass is going to make people who are PC gamer centric, which there are a lot of people out there, say, wait a second, $10 a month, I can get all these games, play on my PC. I'm getting cross play, I'm getting cross progression, and I'm getting them day and date. Sign me up. And if you're, like I said, if you're a savvy gamer like myself, you can. I picked up 6 months of Game Pass for $30, so I'm paying $5 a month. Drew, am I speaking? Am I speaking truths here,
mate? Bottom line, it's business, and the more money Microsoft make, the more as the gamer we will benefit from that said revenue, that said profit. And I think if they're expanding their market over to the PC guys, which, like we've established, the player base completely outweighs the console market. It's just opening things up. Even if just 1 or 2 people subscribe to it, or anywhere between that and 202 or 2002 or bloody 2,000,002, because it's there and it's a quick, easy, boom, there's my money, you get the subscription, all those games available. People are going to gravitate towards it, no question. It's been an absolute groundbreaking success over here on the Xbox platform. Not everyone had to do it, but I'd say the vast majority of people have got Game Pass, and I think when it becomes available, the money's going to roll in. And frankly, I don't get any checks cut from Microsoft. I don't work for them, so this makes no difference to me in terms of my financial situation. But as a gamer, this is exciting because my preferred platform is Xbox. I love their games, their first-party titles, the Gears of Wars, Halos. You've got the Initiative, Playground Games, and all these other developing companies that have been acquired. And it just says to me, like, all this money coming in, that's going to be the funding going towards these new games. And these games are just going to be mind-blowing. And the next generation is upon us. The next console is upon us. All this money from it just expanding the market to other areas of the market, i.e. the PC gamers, it's just smart business sense. It's business practice, smart business practice. And it'll only benefit us as the gamer in the long run because of what we will get.
Yes,
in the long run. And it comes around full circle, Boom. And again, I know it's kind of off topic, but it's not. It's still relevant. But I mean, when keyboard and mouse drops for the Xbox, it can work both ways. They might have, you never know. Xbox could develop a good relationship with, over there with the PC. Like, could be like, get like a relationship going with Steam and other games, like other things like that. And who knows? You could maybe see Age of Empire or World of Warcraft, games like that dropping on the Xbox Game Pass service, and then we get it on the Xbox, and you just don't know. Like the bottom part, when you build bridges, the possibilities are endless. So the fact that Xbox are branching and they're shaking hands with the PC crowd and things are moving forward with the Play Anywhere, and
I love that, shaking hands. I love it.
Oh, mate, mate, tell me if I'm wrong, but I just think that bloody hell, like. It just opens things up, but bottom line, the one thing I can say for certain is with the money side of things, the more money that comes rolling in, we'll only benefit as the gamer.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I want to, like I said, with that said, this was not a topic, okay? But you talked about the advantages of what's going to happen to the Xbox platform with keyboard mouse. Now, I'm going to say this. not against it, but I am not for it. I'm sitting in the middle of the line because if there's an option to shut it off so I can play with only people with a controller, I'm cool. If you take that ability away from me, now we're going to have problems. But I want to say this. You talked about could it work both ways, right? It satisfy not only the PC crowd, but could somehow the Xbox One crowd win something, get something that we weren't going to get? I'm going to say this. There have been rumors that we're going to be getting a lot of RTS games. And the one that I have been so publicly up in arms over is Gears Tactics. And I have been a proponent that this not announcing this for the console, it enraged me. I'm not an enraged gamer. Everyone knows me. For me, it's unicorns and rainbows all day long. I'm the happy-go-lucky gamer, right? Even though my name is BoomStickXL. But this particular announcement pissed me off in such a manner because I'm like, wait a second. I like those tactics games, and you're telling me that as an Xbox player, I can't effing play a Gears game? What the F, right? I said it on Twitter. I said it on numerous podcasts. Hell, I'm talking about it now. But with the keyboard and mouse support, again, not a topic, and we're not going to go into too much detail, this could possibly mean that maybe at XO18 they tell us we're going to get it, right? So no longer the rage gamer. I can now cool my jets. But you know what? I want to move on to the next subject. I think this is a big one. Okay. Everyone is talking next generation already, right? Where everyone is all up in arms. PS5, Xbox One X2, what's going to happen? Well, in a story that was pulled, apparently the next Xbox will feature uncanny realism, more cross-play opportunities, and during an interview with Epic Games' Kim Liberie, she sat down with VentureBeat to discuss what this means for the next generation of gaming. And I am already super stoked to see what the power will come in tow with not only the next Xbox, but of course the next PlayStation, whatever that's going to be. This is what we know so far. The Unreal Engine has evolved much through its creation, and Epic Games has recently just launched their Unreal 4.20 engine. This particular engine is meant to make stunning, realistic characters and blur the lines between fiction and reality. Pair that with the ability to make incredible immersive environments, and the Unreal Engine literally cannot be stopped. And I want to read a little excerpt from the interview. And it says this: when speaking about a recent demo that was shown at GDC, Liberie mentioned, from a code perspective, we have better skin shaders that now allow double specular hits for skin. Also, light can be transmissive through the backs of ears and through the sides of the nose, which is ridiculous when you think about that. You get better subsurface scattering, which translates into realism. We also have this screen space indirect illumination for skin, which allows light to bounce off cheekbones onto eye sockets. It matches what happens in reality. With this information that was disclosed in this interview, Drew, how excited are you going to be, or are you now, to see what Microsoft will be putting into the next Xbox? And based on the quotes from Phil Spencer, who was interviewed by Eurogamer on June 11, 2018, this is what he said. The same team that delivered unprecedented performance with the Xbox One X is deep into architecting the next Xbox console, where we will once again deliver on our commitment to set the benchmark for console gaming. Drew, with what the lady from Epic is saying and what Phil Spencer said earlier in the year, what are your takeaways from this?
Well, I think if we're talking Kim Liberie, I think.
Yes.
What she had to say was pretty outstanding, really. I mean, as a gamer, people, as someone who loves what gaming brings to the table. I mean, you know, what I love about gaming is it's a whole different way of immersion that I can't find in a book or a comic or a movie or music. Like, gaming is just in a world of its own. And sometimes when I'm playing certain games, if I dive on Forza Horizon 4, or I'm sure tomorrow when I'm playing Red Dead 2, I'll be looking and thinking, how can it get any better than this? But the reality is, Boom, with technological advances and with these machines getting more powerful and powerful, as Phil Spencer disclosed, but I'll get into that in a second, it's just like, it's just insane. Like, within the next, say, 10 years, it wouldn't surprise me if we can't discern, say 10 to 20 years, but still, like, that's really not a long time when you think about it. It's just crazy how, like, eventually we probably won't even be able to discern a game from a movie. Just where it's going. Like, this woman clearly knows her stuff. She's come forward with all these different, like, an analytical sort of things, like the spec, you know, the hits for the skin, light transmitting through the backs of ears and the sides of a nose. I mean, for anyone who is like, what does that even mean? Like, there's certain areas of your body where the skin is very fair, and even if you're like talking to your mum or something and she's standing in front of a window, you'll be able to notice that certain light can reflect through certain parts of the body, like through an ear, because it's very
crazy.
thin.
It's just insane.
But it's things like that, Boom, like the detail. Like, I would never have expected to see that in a game, nor would I be looking for it. But the fact that this woman's addressing it and saying that these are the kind of visuals we can expect eventually, it just blows my mind, because I love it. Like I said, a game for me is the best, most incredible, number one place for immersion and storytelling and just about everything in between. And it's just phenomenal that these are the advances that we're going to be seeing. So on that front, Boom, it blows my mind, because I can't wait to see how, not when or if, because we know it's coming, but just how can it get any better? Like I said, I know for a fact I'm going to be taking screenshots. My dashboard, my friends' dashboards are going to be littered with screenshots of these horses and these mountains and up close face shots of, like, the characters. And you just wonder, like, how is it going to get any better? But the bottom line is it will. And in terms of Phil Spencer coming forward on the architecture, saying how, you know, they're deep into the architecture and they're going to commit to their, you know, being the benchmark for the console market and everything, I have no doubt he's going to stick to that plan. If by some chance the PlayStation is in fact more powerful, or pumps out better visuals, or it's just, you know, let's just say for argument's sake it's a better machine, I don't care, because I know that you know, I'm still going to have a lot of fun with the next Xbox, and it's going to be a phenomenal machine, and it's going to pump out phenomenal visuals. It's not like it's going to be a loaf of bread next to a bread factory. You know, it's not going to be literally like chalk and cheese difference. These two systems are going to be very close. Whichever one takes the win, even if it's by a very small integer, it's not going to be by a whole lot. But I do fully expect Phil to be, he's not going to make the same mistake that was made by Don Matrick in 2013. They're not going to go in light. This generation has been, whether we like it or not, the power gen, the generation of graphics, the generation of teraflops. You know, it's been very clear. It's been a precedent that's been made for some time now. So I have no doubt Phil and gang, with all the backing of Microsoft and the funding, we are going to be seeing a very, very, very advanced bit of technology when it drops. So yeah, I'm not at all surprised by that comment. I'm very excited to see how it can get any better. I'm still playing on my Xbox One X on the daily and thinking, wow. Again, same reaction from the Kim Libera comment. Like, how can it get any better than this, Boo? Like, that's the ultimate question. But as technology proves time and time again, it is getting better and better and better. And these visuals, I just can't wait to see the bottom line is these are the people doing the Surface Pro team who did the Xbox One X. They are deep into the architecture of the Xbox Scarlett, and they're basically trying their utmost to make a machine that can accommodate and house the kind of games that this Kim Librera is talking about. And it is very exciting stuff, and it's phenomenal and gets me very excited. I can't wait to see where gaming goes. And yeah, I mean, what more can I say on that, really? All I will say is Phil Spencer has come out and said before that they will not be outgunned in hardware again.
Yep.
And I do think that he
confirmed. Yes,
definitely. I think he's not pulling punches. I think between him and what that woman said from Epic Games, I expect big things.
Yes, I'm right. I'm right there with you. I'm excited for the future. I'm going to be there. Day one purchase of all the next gen hardware. It doesn't matter what it is. I will be there. But of course, I'm excited for the my favorite place to play, and that is, of course, the Xbox. I want to move on to the next topic, and this story I pulled from Game Informer. I happen to really like those guys over there. EA announced some big organizational changes today. Jade Raymond, the head of EA Motive, the studio that was focused on, basically the next big Star Wars property, is leaving her position. During Raymond's time at EA, she was in charge of Battlefront 2, which was released, but we kind of know what happened with that. And her leaving EA says a lot. But I kind of want to just break down a couple of things. First of all, here are the highlights of her very impressive career. First, in 2007, she was the lead producer of Assassin's Creed. That was in 2007. She was then promoted to executive producer for Assassin's Creed 2 in 2009. She was the executive producer of Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. She was, of course, that was in 2009. She was once again the executive producer of Watch Dogs in 2014. She then moved on to her next project in 2015, where she was the executive producer there of the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. I'm unfamiliar with that. Then she moved on to Ubisoft Toronto, where she was the executive producer of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist. And then she was, as of recently, the executive producer of Visceral Games, the next Star Wars game, which is still shrouded in mystery. Now, here's the question I'm going to have for the chat. This is the question I'm going to have for you. Jade Raymond is a talent. And considering that Microsoft has been on a hiring tear of late, could her next stop be the next big announcement to go to the initiative, to go to Playground Games, to go and be possibly a lead producer in one of Microsoft's newly acquired studios? What do you think about that, dude?
I think it's impressive, and I think it'd be cool if it happened. The fact that she's left, I don't know what, obviously her reasons are, but she seems a talented gal. And the likes of Microsoft, like you said it best, like they have been on a hiring spree. They've been acquiring left and right, and they certainly have no fear in headhunting talented individuals. And she clearly knows what she's doing. So if Microsoft were to hire her, and possibly be in charge of one of Microsoft first-party titles. At this point, I need to see something happen.
Yes. Yeah.
I need to see, because I think there's been so many rumors and speculation, not just recently, but it's constant. I want to start seeing these things come to light. If this is true, it would be awesome. You can never have too much talent working for one platform. Like there's just no way you can have as much as you want. And if Microsoft want to, house all these talented people, like the Justice League of gaming, why the hell not?
I love it.
But all I will say is, like, if she is going to be knuckle deep in like a new game for Microsoft, I'd like if that were to happen, I hope they get the ball rolling. I hope it works out. Between now and next gen, if it does happen, it'd be a huge bonus. Frankly, I know this is just the ifs, buts, and maybes, but I like to speculate. We like to talk. We like to get like our thoughts out there. I think it would be cool. Just one more talented person added to the roster of talented people, and it just makes you think, makes you wonder, anything could happen at the line, like with the next gen coming around. There's so much, there's so many possibilities. It's exciting stuff.
It's very exciting. Jade Raymond, I happen to think she's a fantastic talent. I loved what she brought to the table with the Assassin's Creed franchise. Of course, Splinter Cell, what could you say? The game is phenomenal. That particular game, Blacklist, is one of my favorites. I happen to really enjoy Watch Dogs 1, even though it got a lot of shit. I get it. I get why it did. But you know what, because of my background being, a retired police officer, I'm always very suspicious with things. You can't deny facts. Earlier this year, a very, very extremely talented female executive producer in Amy Hennig left EA. And I don't know her personally. I've never met her. I would love to. I'd love to just take 10 minutes and talk with her, and I write every word that she said down, because I love what she did with the Uncharted series. But she was ousted from EA. And now we hear another very talented female producer with massive amounts of talent is leaving the position. The old saying, we've said this on the show before, where there is smoke, there is usually fire. It makes me really scratch my head as to what is going on at EA. I know that we're getting close to the 90-minute mark, but if you have the time, Drew, I'd like to continue the show, only because the last topic I worked really hard on. I spent 3 hours in front of the computer, fact-checking, cross-checking. So I want to kind of extend the show a little bit. If it's okay with you, obviously, hopefully everyone that's in the chat will hang around. Titanfall was a monster, console exclusive for the Xbox One, and the fans came out in droves to support it when it launched. In November, it actually launched November 22nd of 2013. It was the first game from Vince Zampella, who was run out of town from Activision, where he was the head of Infinity Ward. And obviously, we know what games he made there. He formed Respawn Entertainment, where Titanfall 1 was developed and released to not just a little success, but significant success on the Xbox One as a console exclusive. As we all know, Titanfall 2 released between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, where it was expected to fail by most of the mainstream media as well as the fans. I mean, when you put something, I don't care what it is, in between two mammoth games, the middle game is going to get crushed. I mean, obviously, I think that's common sense. And speaking on that particular topic, producer Drew McCoy talked about the release date decision, and this is what he said. I actually don't know where the decision came from, McCoy says. I just know it was locked in a long time ago, and there was no changing it. I'm really not worried about it. We tried not to worry about it, to be honest. When you care about the game that you're putting out there for people, they were just happy to have it released. And they were, at the end of the day, they were releasing a game, not only that they were happy with and they enjoyed playing, but they were proud of it. Now, here's the question that I have for you and the entire chat. And I want to thank the chat for hanging around. Should Microsoft try and make a deal with EA and Respawn Entertainment and get Titanfall 3 as an exclusive on the Xbox platform. And here are the actual sales number to justify my personal opinion that this needs to happen. Titanfall 1, which was an exclusive, sold between 10 and 11 million copies on the Xbox One. This is considered in this day and age a mega success in regards to sales, especially on a new IP. Titanfall 2 sold between 4 and 5 million copies, being a multi-plat. Now, that is considered a success, but it's a 2-to-1 when it comes to exclusive versus a multi-plat. Drew, am I going out on a ledge here saying that the Xbox brand has always been known as the shooter box, quote unquote? And why would that be? Well, because we like the controller. I'm going to say this, and I'm not insulting anyone. The PlayStation 4 controller is horrendous. Even the new version. Trying to play a shooter on that, I feel like I have 6 thumbs. Okay, I'm not a fan of it. I went out and bought a third-party controller that gives me the same setup as the Xbox One Elite. I'm using that now. I don't really like the PlayStation 4 controller, and I am using an Elite on the on my Xbox One X. What do you think about what I'm saying? And is there any relevance to my comments?
Well, I think the bottom line, the Xbox platform, whether people want to admit it or not, agree with me or not, it's a known fact that it's called the shooter box for a reason. It's because it's the home of the most competitive online multiplayer network. It's bottom line, it's the most sturdy. It's all around better. And frankly, like the Xbox community, more often than not, there are people like to delve into the online shooting, like Gears of War 4. I still play Gears of War 4, like Halo 5. Like these games like have longevity and they serve a lot of a huge purpose for people who love the shooter and love to play online, and the controller accents that experience. Like the Xbox controller, they hit it out the park with the Xbox controller. I mean, I've only had very, very, very few experiences with the PlayStation controller, but I can honestly say it has taken me out of the experience every single time. Last year for EGX, I lined up for 2 hours to play Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation 4 because it was they had the marketing deals. And for the 20 minutes I was playing that demo, it was the most horrendous 20 minutes ever. I came out of there with carpal tunnel in my fingers. I could barely feel I couldn't even feel my toes. It was that bad. No, I'm only joking. But it was bad. It was significantly bad. And it was recognizable. Let's just put it that way. It was recognizable that it was not comfortable for the hands. It wasn't made for the hands. It was just, yeah, it is what it is. But if you prefer it, you prefer it. But that's just my take. But on this topic of Titanfall and should it be homed on the Xbox system as exclusive once more, I think the numbers speak for themselves, Boom. Titanfall 1 sold 11 million copies, and it was an Xbox One exclusive, and it was a new IP. Yep. Titanfall 2 sold between 4 and 5 million, as you said, as a multi-plat. I can already almost guarantee you, not having the numbers in front of me, but I bet you the majority of the people who bought Titanfall 2 were Xbox owners.
You are correct, sir. You are correct in saying that.
I'd go out on a limb and say that. I'd go out on a limb and say that all day, even if I didn't have the confirmation which you just provided. But I'd go out on a limb on that. It's just not their forte. It's not their pedigree. It's not the PlayStation gamer way. That system is more for the single player, narrative, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just the difference between your Xbox centric gamer and your PlayStation centric gamer. If you had to sum it all up,
yeah.
But the numbers speak for itself, Boom. In terms of answering your question, there was something, in my opinion, very special about Titanfall 1 that I think that they lost when Titanfall 2 was made. They lost that special touch that from Titanfall 1. There was less AI, less immersion. Yes. And I think, honestly, that was stripped out and stripped down when it went multi-plat due to the lack of cloud computing. I personally think Titanfall 2 was a worse all-round game than Titanfall 1. I mean, I know people sing its praises for the single-player story, and I'll let that be, because that's not really relevant here. But in terms of the longevity and the multiplayer and what Titanfall was kind of known for, Titanfall 1 is leaps and bounds over Titanfall 2, and it has a lot to do with the fact that it was made for the Xbox with the cloud and stuff like that. And I think PlayStation just doesn't have the infrastructure to house that level of online gaming. Hence why Titanfall 2's multiplayer was very empty in comparison. So I just think personally, if Titanfall as a series wants to regain its legs and become the juggernaut that it was, because it was a very popular online game, I think that it should go exclusive personally. Usually I'd bat against that, Boom. I'd be like, it is what it is, who cares? But I think for the game of Titanfall to improve and get better with time and to regain its former glory that was Titanfall 1, I think it needs to be exclusive to the Xbox platform. With the better online infrastructure and network, with the cloud computing, it needs to do it. It should go, and frankly, the development side of it should go back to the Titanfall 1 formula, but just make it bigger. Keep it simple, yet very effective while optimizing for the one platform. That is how Titanfall 3 will be successful. And frankly, just to end my point, imagine rewriting history, ignoring the Titanfall 2, Titanfall 3, a launch exclusive for the Xbox Scarlet. Drop the mic. Done. That's what I have to say.
Listen, take my money. Come over here to the States and just take my money right now. I have to give a shout out, though, real quick, to Big 9000. He's a fan of the show. I'm a fan of his. He says he would love to see Titanfall 1 get X enhanced. You know what? No truer words should have been spoken. I am a person, whether you know it or not. Titanfall 1 and 2, I have roughly about 1,500 hours between both games. Little known fact, when Titanfall 1 came out, it had been around the time in 2014 where I had my spinal cord reconstructed. It's known as a double spinal fusion. I was home. I was out of work. I was not retired at that time. This particular injury cost me my career, which then, of course, opened the door for YouTube. And this is how I got here, folks. So thank the injury, I suppose. Back then, back in 2014, I was a guy who was anti-digital. Could you believe it? Yes, that's right. I bought everything on disc. And at that particular time, my Xbox One, which was the old fatty, was low. It was in the console, in my TV console, and it was low. And I could not hit the eject button to get it because obviously I was home alone. My wife was at work, and I couldn't bend because obviously I'm recovering from spinal cord surgery. And I enjoy Titanfall because I'm an old school cat. Everyone knows that. I grew up with Robotech. And when I saw this game, that's the first thing that came to mind. Transformers, Robotech. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to be piloting a giant mech and killing people. I can't wait. And I maxed out every stat in the entire game with every gun, with every Titan. I love Titanfall 1 in a way that I wish they would do an X enhanced, because I would go back and play that. But you know what? I'm expecting big announcements at XO18. I think that we are going to get some megaton bombs. I think Microsoft is going to show up there, not with a gun in their pocket, but with an entire arsenal, possibly having rocket launchers. And Phil Spencer is going to come on stage with a rocket launcher and just point at the crowd, and everyone's just going to cheer his name. But you know what? Real quick, just to give you guys the heads up, the Welsh Gamer and I will be doing an XO18 prediction show, as well as the regular news that you get each and every week for next week's show, because obviously XO will be coming on the 10th. So we're going to get that prediction show in, and we're going to talk about that behind the scenes. We might have one more guest because I think it's going to be a big show. I might try and get one guest on. It's not going to be like a big Breakfast Boom roundtable, but I may try one other person, and we'll talk more during the week. But I have to thank everyone in the chat. Now I know that there was some hubbub and a few guys were going back and forth with each other. Listen, if you have a difference of opinion, I completely understand that, and you can voice that any way you want, as long as you don't. I say try not to curse. Try not to demeanor anyone. Your opinion is important to you, and I completely understand that. But at the cost of what? If people don't agree with you, listen, it's okay. If you're trying to make a point and you really want to get it out there, use all caps. I don't care. But I like to keep this space a fun, friendly, safe space for everyone to just come and hang out. And I'm not mentioning names because I won't do that. I think that's wrong to do. But if when you come here and you have an opinion, put it out there. Don't hold your opinion back based for Boom, because that's not. I throw my opinion out there all the time, but I do like this to be a good place for people and fun. I want it to be a fun space, and of course I have to thank UK Dazarus for his awesome policing. He is the sheriff of the universe as well as moderator of the universe, and he does play fair and run a tight ship. Real quick, the Indie Gamer with the $5 super chat. He says, "You guys are truly amazing. Epic show as always. Boom. Your story is truly inspiring, brother. Love the community." Listen, dude, first of all, thank you so much, Indie Gamer. We've talked privately. You're going to be on the show in one of these upcoming future Breakfast with Booms. I was on a show with you this week. You were fantastic. You are a major part of this community, so welcome, and I'm glad that I can call you my friend. I want to thank all of the gracious donations from everyone in the super chat today. I love you all. I do appreciate everything. And of course, the co-host with the most, who I could not do this without, one of the best people I've met on YouTube, who I call my brother outside of UK Dazarus. Drew, I say this all the time. I think what you bring to this show is special. I would not do it without you. I love having you as my co-host. I think that your Dragon X podcast should be watched by everyone because as much passion and precision that you put into this show, you put into that show. So if you're not following him and you're not subscribed to his channel, you're doing yourself a disservice. He does bring good content, and I think tell everyone where they could find you, Drew.
No, once again, Boom, much appreciated. Absolutely love this show. The topics were lit. Absolutely phenomenal conversations. Big shout out to the chat, everyone involved, all the donations. You're a very good bunch, and it's an absolute privilege to do this show for you guys every week, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. All I'll say to end my reign of tyranny is I am the Welsh Gamer, and the Welsh Gamer channel is home of the Dragon X podcast, which will be going live later on today at 7 p.m. BST, which is exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes from now. So be sure to go over to my channel and check that out. Me and EROCX going to hit up some topics. And my Twitter account at the Welsh Gamer 93. Thank you very much for watching. Big love, much respect to every last one of you. Back to you, Boom. Thank you very much once again, dude.
Oh, well, no problem. Again, we look forward to bringing you Xbox exclusive content each and every week. This is what we strive for. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I go for the deep cuts as well as the hot button topics because I want you to be entertained. I want you to come to this channel and say, man, I did not know about that. And I only knew about this because Drew, the Welsh Gamer, and MrBooMStickXL talked about it on their show. And you walk away satisfied that the 90+ minutes you're with us, you say, that's a damn good show, and I'm going to come back. So once again, thank you to the chat. Thank you to the donations. Drew, thanks to you. Everyone have an incredible Thursday, and I look forward to bringing you the next episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.